So friends, for the coding part, I will deep down into my website and explain you how I coded it. So basically, let's say if I talk about this drop down, so let me show you how I implemented drop down, and also apart from that, how these values are populated, or let's say if I choose a specific value, how exactly the data flows from here till the chart. So I'll explain that. So here is my HTML file, and here you can see uh, like here is the code for the drop down. And what I'm doing is if I choose any specific value, I'm calling a JavaScript function. So that function gets this value, like it gets which value has been chosen. So let me go to the save function in JavaScript. So I have a global variable named chosen value. So that basically it saves the menu. Also, apart from that, when I load this file, so at that time it fetches the data from like this data set. It's stored in one of the website. So it downloads that and it stores it. So second thing I'm doing is I'm from the data set, I'm extracting that specific column that corresponds to the given menu. So the DC, it contains all the desired values. So if I chose sales price, DC will contain the sales price. All right. So that was one. So let's say I click sales price. So you see this chart appeared here. How it appeared, so I'll explain that now. So in D3 we have to create SVG, and in SVG we paint everything. So basically I've included barchart.js that contains the code for bar chart, and histogram contains the code for histogram. So let's check out histogram. So yeah, as you can see, so what I'm doing is I'm basically defining a graph. Inside that there's an SVG. Then I paint the x-axis and y-axis. I define its scales, the transformations, uh, x-axis labels, etc. And then I also calculate so that's the inbuilt function of D3, which is used to calculate the bins, and it's used to create the histogram. So basically I'm storing the result here, and so this step is important. Like after we have defined all the various configurations, so here basically what I'm doing, I'm basically passing my number of bins or the data here. It enters, and then I define width, height, all the required values. Then these two are the important features: mouse enter and mouse leave. So they decide what happens. So let's say if I'm hovering to a specific bar, so this mouse enter, this will get activated, and here basically I'm enlarging it. You can see I'm increasing the width, increasing the height. So I'm doing changing the color. So here I'm doing all those stuff. And also a tooltip was appearing, like which showed the text value, the details. So that's how my tooltip I implemented. And on the mouse sleeve, I will ensure that the tooltip displays gets vanished. Also, I will ensure that all the values that were enlarged, they again get restored into the default values. So that's the short working of histogram. And let's say I chose bar chart. So let's say I am choosing house style. So let's check this code. So as I said, it's there in barchart.js. And for bar chart, you need to understand that since there were categorical values, first I need to process the data. So for that, I have written a function, frequency count. So this will make a frequency map of all the categories with their corresponding count. So once I have that frequency map, I will pass that inside here, and I'll basically use that. So here again, same thing, like we have defined x-axis, y-axis, the scales. We have defined several configurations, the x-axis labels. And here is the main code where, let's say, the like we pass the data, we define the x, v, y, width, height, and the two important functions, mouse enter, mouse leave. So in the mouse enter, I'm basically defining my enlarging logic.